All right, breaking news coming in pertaining to the One Nation, One Poll debate. The BJP has cracked the whip. Sources are telling us that 19 BJP MPs were not present in the House, and the BJP has issued notices to absent MPs, and the whip was issued to all Lok Sabha MPs who were missing. Sanjay Sharma, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast to give us more details about this. Sanjay? संजय, एक इम्पॉर्टेंट मुद्दा था ये, जिस पर बीजेपी अपेक्षा कर रही थी कि जितना समर्थन हो सके उतना मिले, पर विप जारी करने के बाद भी सदन में कुछ ऐसे सांसद थे जो नहीं आए।
बिल्कुल, बीजेपी ने इस मामले को काफी सीरियसली लिया है क्योंकि बड़ा इशू था ये, और सरकार का सबसे बड़ा प्रेस्टिजियस इशू था। वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन बिल को प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का ड्रीम बिल बताया जाता है, और इस पर सांसदों की जो गैर हाजिरी रही है, उनकी एब्सेंट रही है, उस पर को लेकर के बीजेपी काफी सीरियसली ले रही है इस मामले को। और जो भी सांसद जो गैर हाजिर रहे हैं, एब्सेंट रहे हैं, उनको तलब किया जा रहा है, उनको बुलाया जा रहा है, उनको शोकॉज नोटिस भी इशू किए जा रहे हैं, और एचएम गृह मंत्री अमित शाह से उनको मिलने के लिए कहा जा रहा है। तो कहीं ना कहीं बीजेपी इसको लेकर के काफी चिंतित है और इस मामले को काफी सीरियसली ले रही है, क्योंकि जिस तरीके से पहले से सबको पता था कि ये बिल लाया जाएगा, मंगलवार को लाया जाएगा, ट्यूसडे को लाया जाएगा, और सभी सांसदों को पूरे समय लोकसभा में मौजूद रहने के लिए निर्देश दिए गए थे, डायरेक्शन दिए गए थे। और उसके बाद क्योंकि बीजेपी ने 3 लाइन व्हीप भी जारी किया था इन सभी सांसदों को, उसके बावजूद भी अगर सांसद वहां पर मौजूद नहीं रहते हैं, एब्सेंट रहते हैं, तो फिर उनके खिलाफ सीरियस एक्शन भी लिया जा सकता है, उनको चौका नोटिस भी इशू हो सकते हैं, और साथ ही साथ उनको सख्त वार्निंग भी दी जा सकती है।
चलिए, इस जानकारी के लिए हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए आपका शुक्रिया। Moving on, Bengaluru techie Atul Subhash's estranged wife, who was arrested several days ago, has categorically denied her former husband's allegations of harassment. During police questioning, she claimed that it is Atul who subjected her to harassment. She revealed that she had been living separately from her estranged husband, Atul Subhash, for nearly 3 years now. She argued that if she had truly harassed him for money, she would not have stayed away for so long. This comes after Allahabad High Court granted 4 weeks of transit anticipatory bail to estranged wife's uncle yesterday. The first case that was filed against Atul Subhash dates back to 24th April 2022. He travelled a total of 40 out of 120 times to be present for the court hearings. He was embroiled in a total of 9 cases in the family court in Jaunpur, and techie ultimately committed suicide on 9 December 2024, and now it is his family that is fighting for justice. Ahead of the next hearing scheduled for the 18th of December 2024, a pressing question is of course important for us to address. How long will this case go on, and will justice be finally served? Advocate Ashwini Dubey, advocate on record of the Supreme Court, with us on the program. Brinda Adige, activist, with us on the broadcast here as well. Shoni Kapoor, men's right activist, joins us on the program as well. But at this point in time, we also have Vikas Modi, Atul's brother, who's joining us on the broadcast. विकास, हमसे बातचीत करने के लिए आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। क्या आप मेरी आवाज़ सुन पा रहे हैं? विकास, अगर आप मेरी आवाज़ सुन पा रहे हैं? डॉक्टर की लाइन लगी हुई और विकास, अगर आप मेरी आवाज़ सुन पा रहे हैं तो जवाब दीजिए। आपके पीछे काफ़ी बैकग्राउंड नॉइज़ है। आप मेरी आवाज़ सुन पा रहे हैं तो हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं।
मोदी के पास चला गया
विकास
जी, 1 मिनट।
विकास, न्यूज़ से बातचीत करने के लिए आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आपके भाई अतुल की जो बीवी है, उनको एंटिसिपेटरी बेल की हेयरिंग के दौरान उन्होंने ये फरमाया कि अभी तक जो भी हुआ वो सारी गलती अतुल की थी, और इस पूरे वाक़ये में उन्होंने सिर्फ ये कोशिश की थी कि उनको जस्टिस मिले। आप क्या प्रतिक्रिया आगे रखना चाहेंगे इन सब स्टेटमेंट्स के बावजूद?
सर, ये जो मेरे भाई ने जुडिशियल सिस्टम का जिस तरह से उसने बताया है कि कैसे जुडिशियल सिस्टम में वो 9 केसेस उसके ऊपर लगाए गए थे जो कि फेक थे, और फेक केसेस जो है वो तैयार करके उसके ऊपर डाला था, मेरा क्वेश्चन भी आज की डेट में इस जुडिशियल सिस्टम से ही है कि इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने मेरे एफआईआर दर्ज करने के बाद एक व्यक्ति के ऊपर जो है वो ट्रांजिट बेल उन्हें दे देता है, जबकि उसकी सुनवाई जो है वो मतलब 18 तारीख को होने वाली थी। जो सुनवाई उन्होंने, ऐसा क्या उनके ऊपर प्रेशर था, ऐसा क्या उनके ऊपर क्या सिस्टम में क्या चीजें थी जो उनको ये प्रेशर दिया गया कि इस केस की सुनवाई अर्जेंट लेकर, और 16 तारीख को ही उन्होंने ऑर्डर भी पास कर दिया, ट्रांजिट बेल दिया गया है। तो एक सवालिया निशान हमारे जुडिशियल सिस्टम पे फिर से आगे खड़ा हुआ है। ये मैं इसके बाद जो है वो कैसे हम इस चीज के ऊपर आगे बढ़ेंगे, वो हमारी लॉयर की टीम इस पर काम कर रही है, और जैसे भी वो राय देंगी वो हम आगे उस चीज को लेके जाएंगे।
विकास, इस पूरे एक तरह से एपिसोड के दौरान अतुल से जब आपकी बात होती थी तो क्या लगता था आपको? आपको कभी इस बात की अपेक्षा थी या अंदेशा था कि वो इतना बड़ा कदम उठा लेंगे?
सर, ना ही मुझे ऐसा कभी कुछ लगा, ना ही मेरे फादर को ऐसा कुछ लगा कि मेरा भाई कभी कुछ ऐसा करने वाला है। मेरे फादर से तो उस दिन भी रात के 9 बजे से 10 बजे तक वीडियो कॉल पे बात हुई है। फिर भी उन्हें ऐसा कुछ लगा ही नहीं कि वो ऐसा कुछ करने वाला है या ऐसा कुछ सोच भी रहा है। शायद वो मेरे से शेयर करता या मेरे फादर से शेयर करता तो उसे इस चीज से मैं बाहर निकाल के लेके आ पाता, बट उसने ऐसा कुछ हमें कभी कुछ बताया ही नहीं। रीजन मैं समझ सकता हूँ कि वो मेरे से जितना प्यार करता था शायद कोई और से नहीं करता था। मेरे फादर से जितना प्यार करता था या मेरी मदर से जितना प्यार करता था वो शायद किसी और से नहीं करता था। तो वो मुझे ट्रबल में नहीं देखना चाहता था, या मुझे परेशान होते हुए नहीं देखना चाहता था, या मेरे फादर मदर को कभी वो परेशान करना नहीं चाहता था, क्योंकि मेरे फादर को भी थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम्स है मेडिकल, और मेरी मदर को भी मेडिकली कुछ प्रॉब्लम है। तो वो कभी ऐसा सोच के मुझे लगता है कि उसने ऐसा नहीं किया, लेकिन उसने जो किया है पूरी कानून व्यवस्था में जो करप्शन है, पूरे कानून व्यवस्था में जो चीजें हैं, और कैसे एक शादी की चीजों को बिजनेस में तब्दील कर दिया गया है, इसका जीता जाता उदाहरण देकर गया है। वो लोगों को सबक देके गया है कि इस देश में कानून व्यवस्था की क्या हालात हैं, कैसे किसी मेन को जो है वो हैरेस किया जा सकता है, कैसे किसी मेन के अगेंस्ट में कोई एक लॉ नहीं है, कोई एक फॉरन नहीं है जहाँ पे ये बताया जा सके या अपनी बातें रखी जा सके कि मेन भी हरास होते हैं, मेन को भी परेशान किया जा सकता है। अगर आप ये बताएं किसी महिला का के 20 अफेयर्स अगर किसी के साथ हैं, तो क्या मेन के पास ऐसा कोई राइट है कि वो उसको डिवोर्स दे सकता है? ऐसा कोई राइट नहीं है। और डिवोर्स देने के बाद भी लड़कियां ही उस लड़के के ऊपर ढेर सारे एलिगेशंस लगा के, ढेर सारे सेक्शंस लगा के उसके ऊपर ही मेंटेनेंस चार्ज भी लेंगी, उसी के ऊपर जो है वो क्या कहते हैं एलिगेशंस लगा देंगे और फिर केसेस दायर कर देंगे। तो क्या मेन के पास कोई राइट है, कोई ऐसा चीज है जहाँ पे वो न्याय ले सके? नहीं है। इस देश का कानून ऐसा ही बनाया गया है जहाँ पे सिर्फ और सिर्फ वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट की बात होती है, मेन की बात की ही नहीं जाती है। तो इस देश में कानून का बदलना जरूरी है, कानून का आना जरूरी है। सिस्टम, जो मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ, फॉर्मर सीजेआई जो चंद्रचूड़ जी हैं, उन्होंने भी इस चीज का अभी एक इंटरव्यू में अपना बताया है कि कैसे इस सिस्टम में फ्लॉज हैं, कैसे इस सिस्टम में जो है वो कुछ लोगों की वजह से इस सिस्टम के ऊपर सवालिया निशान उठ रहे हैं। तो फैक्ट्स हैं, फिगर्स हैं, 498A के जो सेक्शंस के जो मिस यूज हैं, वो सारे के सारे जो हैं वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का डाटा है।
बट विकास, आप कह रहे हैं कि सिस्टम करप्ट है, आप कह रहे हैं सिस्टम करप्ट है, जुडिशरी करप्ट है, तो फिर इस करप्ट जुडिशरी से और सिस्टम से क्या आपको लगता है कि आपके भाई के केस में भी आपको इंसाफ मिल पाएगा?
सर, सिस्टम करप्ट कुछ लोगों की वजह से है, उसके ऊपर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए। सारे के सारे लोग जो हैं वो करप्ट नहीं है इस पूरी दुनिया में। कुछ लोगों की वजह से ही लोग आज के देश में भी, आज के इंडिया में भी ये लोग लोगों को भरोसा है कि हमें इंसाफ मिलेगा। कुछ लोगों की वजह से वो चीजें करप्ट हो गई हैं, और उसमें रीता कौशिक जी का नाम लिया गया है। वो भी मेरे भाई ने बताया है कि कैसे वो करप्ट है, कैसे उनके ऊपर एलिगेशंस लगाए हैं मेरे भाई ने, और उस सारी चीजों का हमारे पास साक्ष्य है। तो अगर ये चीजें हैं तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया से हमने गुहार की है कि वो स्यू मोटो इस चीजों का संज्ञान लेके इस केस को आगे देखें और प्रोसीड करें, और जो भी गिल्टी हो इस केस में उसको कड़ी से कड़ी सजा दिलवाएं।
विकास, आप हमारे साथ जुड़े इस बातचीत के लिए आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. All right, let me also rope in Advocate Ashwini Dubey into this conversation. Now, Ashwini, Vikas is obviously right. He's saying there are provisions which are missing from our legal discourse, which idly being processed and eventually being closed.
It's a irony is that the 498A or the other women-centric laws are one-sided. The irony is that despite that one person has lost his life, but the justice which is to be given to the deceased and his family, what is required in a country like India where laws and the rules regulations are paramount or not, the justice not getting. The irony is that women-centric laws, moment a woman reaches to the court or police station, at the first instance, the accused is the husband or the relatives, and without any evidence, they are declared guilty. Vinit bhai, the 498A, which was introduced in Indian Penal Code, was introduced in the year 1983. And the sole intention was to protect the women from being subjected to cruelty from husband and relatives. And of course, that time the cruelty dowry demand was at peak. But now almost 50 years have passed, and as of now, if you'll see, the women are more empowered. At the same time, more misuse and abuse of law is being done. Moment they reaches to the police station, since the police official are bound to take any action on the complaint of the wife, and also they don't want to get roped into cases where they are कहें कि भाई महिला की complaint आई and they have not taken any action, because the law support to the women, judgment support to the women says moment a woman reaches to the police station, you have to register the FIR. But what is now required in a 21st century, where the justice can be given on the basis without being biased on the basis of the gender, that is the gender neutral law, and where the social perspective with respect to the men and their relatives, the family members, that should also be looked into. Otherwise, Vinit bhai, if we see the statistics that is NCRB data, that says that the more than 60% cases are found to be false. More than 20% cases are compromised on the basis of money. And many people have died. Atul Subhash is in fact a person who has raised the debate in the society. There are many. I am also in touch with many people, and I am also in touch with many women also who have been subjected to cruelty. I am not denying this fact. You are also not denying that. But the question herein is, more is the abuse, more is the misuse. And that is what we have seen in Nikta Singhania's case. It is the abetment of suicide. Of course, it's an abetment of suicide. What is she saying that she was living on rent or what money was not being given? That's a different aspect. But she forced a person to lose his life, to commit suicide, just because he was forced to travel 120 times in 2 years from Bangalore to Varanasi. Is this not the abuse of process of law? Is this not the abuse of process of the court, on whose behalf the learned court was acting upon? What kind of justice learned court was trying to deliver in 120 times? The question is there. So what is
so obviously, Ashwini, this connotates that there was a prejudice against him already before anything could be proved against him.
That is what the prima facie material is saying. Prima facie material is showing a person is settled in Bangalore, matter is in Varanasi, traveling at least 4 to 5 times in a month from Bangalore to Varanasi to attend the hearing. And at a time when Honorable Chief Justice of India have said that you can attend the matrimonial disputes through virtual mode, but it was not acceded to this remedy. Meaning thereby, there was something which was favoring to Nikta Singhania. What will come tomorrow, we will discuss it. But as of now, prima facie evidence says that Atul Subhash was the system made him to suffer. And not only Atul Subhash, many and many people like him. And of course, Vinit bhai, we too have certain responsibility as a lawyer. As a lawyer also, we have a responsibility to ensure that a person who is not who is innocent should not be suffer because of the
Okay.
system.
All
And
right.
that is why the system has to be reformed, and reform is the need of the hour.
Absolutely. And Brinda Adige, if the system has to be reformed, there has to be a sensitization towards the people who are running the system. If you go back to 2012, Brinda Adige, when Nirbhaya happened, there were a lot of worms that came out of the can, and a lot of issues were discussed, a lot of problems that were in fact automatically highlighted. The reaction on social media was not as such as we get to see it today. And yet that was a very powerful case. It changed a lot for women. It changed the laws. It brought about a reform, and it brought this consciousness towards this entire problem. Do you think for men also this case is going to be a replicant in terms of what happened in 2012? Maybe not in those terms of torture and not in those terms of abuse and barbarianism, but in terms of awakenings.
I do hope that this case will bring that awakening. I also hope that this case brings in speedy reforms, because these are reforms we are talking of for the last 2-3 decades, and it has not happened. It has not happened within the judiciary. It has not happened with the police. Blanket statements that laws that are women-centric are being misused is absolutely unacceptable. Let us place on record that even though you may cite that there are compromises made because of money exchange, there are compromises made of taking back the case. At the end of the day, all of this is because of social sanctions and the situation that women are placed in every case. We know that the justice system has not extended justice to women who have died of dowry deaths, or for that matter, women who might have committed suicide as a result of domestic violence. And we want to place that onus on the system. We cannot say misuse of law because of so-and-so, so why did she get bail? Bail, is a right. Bail is a right of everybody. We do not presume that so-and-so is guilty just because the person has been accused. So that bail, why did you give it to her? How dare the court give? That is the job of the police, job of the court. They look at the merits of a case and give you that bail. But beyond that, they have fast-track courts. Why are these cases not being tried immediately in fast-track courts? Are the judges trained? Because we know for sure that judges are almost the last people who consider themselves to be in need of training. For some reason, there is this whole, they are almost like this holy space where judges do not want to go through any kind of training. And they were unwilling to also go through training with police and prosecution together. So today, when we are talking about a system that lacks professionalism, a system that lacks accountability, a system that does not have its review in the public domain, we want an immediate reform of it. And sadly, if it is Atul's case that must bring that about, so be it. Why is it not discussed? Why is the matter not coming up in the parliament for this? Talking and saying we want gender neutral laws is not the answer. Because we know that we are a largely patriarchal society. In a patriarchal society, the laws that are women-centric must continue. Across the world, that UN and other research bodies have claimed that it would take us about 258 years to reach that space of equity and equality between men and women. And we are not even talking about developing or developed nations. We are talking of an average of all nations put together. That said, we absolutely must continue with women-centric laws, but do have special laws for men. Do have special mechanisms that address these issues. There is a need to address them in that special, unique manner. It must be done. Just because there are laws, we are not saying, you don't even weigh the pros and cons and say, let's arrest so-and-so, or let's only believe the woman. Because that onus is on the judiciary. Why is the judiciary not looking at these cases? Why is it only 3 to 5% of convictions in cases of rape, in cases of dowry deaths, in cases of domestic violence deaths? That is all is the conviction. Now, you can't say that the lawyers filed a bad case or the police have not filed a full case. Where is the review? Have you tried to close those gaps? Have you looked at what those lacunae are? And if all of this requires filling up vacancies, advancing training, putting in convergence coordination mechanisms, so be it. We are not a country that can either claim we are poor or claim that we do not have the resources and the wherewithal. We are all of that today. And that excuse must not be taken in.
All right.
That said,
Yeah.
we need to respect both men and women. Both lives are very precious.
Absolutely. Well said. Shoni Kapoor, both in fact play a pivotal role in our society. Both are represented in one manner or the other. But, there is obviously a sense of men being underrepresented or misrepresented or not being represented at all when it comes to such cases. We are talking about awakenings, we are talking about awareness. Do you think that a case like this perhaps will serve the purpose, regardless of what becomes of this case in the end? This case will serve a purpose of bringing together and coordinating and consolidating an agenda and a problem which perhaps has always been a victim of oversight.
Thank you for having me here. To start with, do I think that it is going to be a watershed moment in men's right or bringing equality in law? I think the amount of discussion I have seen in last 3-4 days in mainstream media about a male suicide, I have never seen it before. And we had been always hearing about a crime against women being committed, being discussed in all the media rooms. So this is the first time probably when somebody is speaking about that there is a need of sensitization, there is a need of gender neutrality, there is a need that there should be a strong misuse clause. So yes, there is a watershed moment, but will it actually bring about a change in law? I have my own reservations about it. And when I was listening to Brinda, and I was just thinking that when she said that bail is a basic human right, so I heard it like that. It is the compulsory privilege for women. See, whenever there is a case where a man is a victim, does people come and say that bail is a basic human right, or they say hang the rapist without going through due process of law? So please understand that yes, when we are talking about change of laws, there is a need which is imminent. The change should begin now. Secondly, there is a grave injustice which is done to male accused. That should stop. Male accused should also have this privilege which is called bail. In rape cases, in matrimonial cases, in my own case, I had been behind bars for 5 days in the case where a judge said that the prosecution has miserably failed to prove the case. In that case, I was behind bars. So please, and I was not accorded the same privilege, which is being said that it is a basic human right, that is bail. So please understand that if there is a need of change, yes, it should happen. It should happen. There should be a strong misuse clause, and the law of domestic violence, the law of sexual harassment, the law of dowry, if need be, should be gender neutral, or there should, even if it cannot be gender neutral, there should be a strong misuse clause. Secondly, whenever we go to all MPs, and I have been to nearly 50 MPs in my life, and let me tell you that each and every member of parliament I have met in private has said that yes, there is a misuse of law. We know that there is a grave misuse which is happening, but we cannot speak about it in parliament. We have gone to, now CGI is saying something when he is not in office. He says that the current system is not fit to handle these kind of cases. When he was in office, what were the reforms which he had done, which was needed? So please understand, it is very easy to play to galleries. It is very easy to come to newsrooms and say that there is a need of reforms. But what is the action on ground? So that is what is required. And mere lip service about Atul Subhash or about anybody is not going to help us. Please understand, since Atul Subhash committed suicide, nearly 10 such suicides have come into social media, which has happened in Jaipur, Jodhpur, Bangalore. Bangalore, a police constable committed suicide because of harassment by his wife. Recently, another policeman committed suicide in Agra owing to harassment by wife. So these things will be reported now because there has been a big incident. So these will keep on getting reported in media for some time and then it will die down. And I don't want that the watershed moment which has come in this the history, that we have a chance to rectify the law, we have the chance to amend the laws, that should be wasted. If there is a chance, because of a bad incident, we should not miss on seizing about.
All right, Mr. Kapoor, we've run out of time. Ashwini, just a quick response from you. You know, based on what Mr. Kapoor said, do you think this is an opportunity to bring about some parity in the system?
Yes, the rule of law demands that. Indian Constitution establishes that the laws apply equally to all citizens, meaning that everyone is equal before the law. Then why can't be there if a case tomorrow comes out to be false, the similar action required to be taken against the complainant? That is how you can protect the men and women both. That is what is required. That is Supreme Court judgment also says that the LGBT community or the transgenders should also be given equal rights. And that would only be possible in a growing society like India when you will be having a gender neutral law. Because you have given 1 minute, so Vinith Bhai, I am finishing it as early as possible. More than 63 countries, including most of the countries in Europe and North America, UK, Canada, Germany, Finland, Iceland, have an elected gender neutral law. Why can't we take a lesson when we have Indian Penal Code 2023 brought by the Lord Macaulay? Why can't we see that those societies, those countries are progressing, they have gender neutral law, equal right is given. The Constitution also does not discriminate. So need is to have a law which does not discriminate on the basis of gender, and if tomorrow any complaint filed by anybody turns out to be false, similar action should follow.
All right. We've completely run out of time. Appreciate everybody who joined us on this important conversation. Taking a break. Be right back.